Pucks Across Borders on Total Apex Sports and Sports Addict Live, brought to you by the one, the only First Round Collectibles. Right now, with our promo code Sports Addict, get 10% off whatever sports card you want in the entire First Round Collectibles store. They have an ongoing sale up to 50% off tons and tons of cards. And with our promo code Sports Addict, get 10% off whatever sports card you want in the entire First Round Collectibles store, regular price or sales price items. That's right, do the math. 20% off becomes 30, 30, 40, 40, 50, 50, 60, whatever it is, you can get it. FirstRoundCollectibles.com. Use promo code Sports Addict for 10% off your order. Hockey, football, basketball, baseball, wrestling, boxing. You can get it. FirstRoundCollectibles.com. Promo code Sports Addict for 10% off your order. That's the number one. STRoundCollectibles.com. First Round Collectibles, sports cards for sports fans.
Yeah. Let's go. We just gotta go hard. I go the hardest. I bring the pain. Not what you used to. It's all part of the game. Yeah, I just gotta go hard. I just gotta go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Yeah. Oh yeah, the beast back.
And welcome to this Thursday betting preview edition of Pucks Across Borders, Sports Act Live, and Total Apex Sports. I don't know if it's like because it's 11:36 or what it is, man. The Leaf game has me going crazy, but I'm pretty sure I like double read that entire ad read. My brain just turned off. I think I said the whole thing twice, but you know what? You need to know.
That's a single read. You're good.
You need to know. Promo code Sports Addict, 10% off your order, regular price or sales price items. Whether I say it once, twice, or three times, you need to know it. Welcome to the show. I am Mark Sauter, and as always, my brother. It's been a couple days, man. Thank you for doing the show today. I have no idea, full disclosure, no idea what your picks are. Don't know if you were right or wrong, but I appreciate it regardless. And it's good to see you, man. How you feeling on a Wednesday night / Thursday?
Yeah, soon to be Thursday. I want to give a very special happy birthday to someone special out there on this fine soon to be Thursday. But
Beautiful.
I'm doing pretty well, man. Can't complain. We're going to talk about my picks in a sec. Don't you even worry.
Can't wait. Well, I don't even know really how to feel about tonight because it wasn't an overly crazy. I mean, I guess relatively crazy, not overly, but my Leafs down 3-1 against Washington, a game that they should not have won. They weren't bad, but they didn't really deserve to win that game. Washington controlled the majority of the game, and quite frankly, the Leafs were lucky to be down 2-1 heading into the third period, or 3-1, sorry, heading into the third period, and 5 minutes left in the game. The Leafs score 4 goals in the last 10 minutes. 2 of them disallowed, and one of the disallowed goals was in the last 5 minutes, but the Leafs rallied nonetheless, scored 2 goals in the last 5 minutes, tie it up. John Tavares scores in overtime to win the game. I don't even know how to feel because I'm crushing my parlay right now. The Leafs win, the Red Wings win, plus money against the Penguins. I don't care if the Pens are at home, and I don't care if the Pens got smacked the other night by Dallas and they're, due for a bounce back or whatever. I'm not taking – if I get the opponent against the Pens plus money, I'm taking it, and we'll see what happens. I got Vegas against the Ducks. They're up 2-1. I got the Kings up 2-1 against the Avalanche. I have them on the money line. Of course, it's going to be Utah beating Carolina 4-1. That's going to ruin my parlay. So the Leafs win on a crazy comeback that they don't deserve to win, and I don't know if I can even enjoy it, man. I'm pretty furious about this.
Yeah, I mean, you should enjoy it. It was a pretty wild comeback, pretty big win. It doesn't come around like that often, after that second disallowed goal. If they were just be like, yeah, screw this, screw the rest, whatever, we're going home. who would have blamed him? Second half of the back-to-back, he went from one nation's capital to another. Yeah, you got shut out the night before, and now you're just having goals taken away from you. Sometimes you just throw it all away and say, screw this. Take your little rest, regroup, whatever. Your boys fought. Good win for them. You should enjoy it. You should take pride in this one. You should watch the highlights before you go to bed tonight.
You know what? I think I will. Thank you for that. And I'll say this, man. They played a really good third period, but 5 out of their last 6 periods, dating back to yesterday, again, I wasn't on the show today to talk about it, but 5 of their last 6 periods were borderline awful. Like that game against Ottawa yesterday was an absolute no-show. Ottawa came in, full props to them, man. We're talking about all year how Ottawa needs to prove themselves. And they did last night. Statement win for them, just considering where that organization has been and where they want to go. But yeah, the Leafs, 5 out of the last 6 periods have been absolutely lifeless, and they find a way to get 2 points tonight. So huge. So listen, man, as I've said already, I wasn't on the show earlier today. You can give me a takeaway from tonight. Give me a takeaway from yesterday. What do you got, bro? Give me a takeaway. I haven't talked to you since Monday, man, so lots to catch up on. This show might last till 1 a.m. Who knows? Actually, it might last till 1 a.m. regardless. Who am I kidding? But what do you got, bro?
Yeah, these takeaways, there's no shots to send to underachieving teams. There's no props to give to teams playing well right now. Nothing outlandish happening. This is a letter to our viewers, all of you out there, the Pucks Across Borders family. This is a letter. I need to be better. I apologize. I sucked today. I didn't do a good job. Everything blew up in my face. Capital 60-minute line blew up in my face. They were up 3-1. 5 minutes left.
That's not your fault. That one's not your fault.
I advised it. I put it out there. I said, this is a good bet. Blew up in my face. Negative money. I did pick the Red Wings. Plus 120. Good pick. But my best bet was from that game, and it was the over 3-2 final in OT. Fail. Another best bet, Carolina puck line. I know they have 47 shots on goal, but guess what? They only have one that hit the back of the net. With 3.5 minutes remaining, power play just ended. I apologize, people. The Avs, they just tied it up. They could still do the thing.
Yeah.
That over still in play. It was set at 6 when I took it. So maybe maybe the 10 o'clock is going to save me. You know, the Knights, they're up 2-1. I picked the puck line in the under in that one. So those 10 o'clocks could really come in clutch. But I apologize. I will be better. I will do better. I'm sorry, people. And Washington especially, screw you. You're up 3-1 with 5 minutes left. Come on. Finish the job. I'm happy for you. I'm glad your boys won.
Thank
but
you.
For my pride, Washington, do better. Charlie Lindgren, do better.
Well, I'll tell you this. I mean, I know that listen, we make the picks. They ask like what's the term? They ask how many, not how or whatever. Like they want you want wins. How you lost doesn't matter. It's you want wins. That being said, bro, Carolina minus 1.5 against the Coyotes. Wow, look at me. Against the Utah Hockey Club. That's the right pick. They're out shooting. I haven't checked recently, but you just said 47 shots on net. Like, they absolutely, that minus 1.5 should hit. They've been dominating the most of that game. The Detroit-Pittsburgh over, you're picking a game with the Penguins in it, bro. I know that they gave up 6 in one period a couple of days ago, and they're due for some sort of correction. But it's Pittsburgh, man. Their goaltending has been brutal all year long. I don't fault you on that one at all. Washington, one of the best teams in the National Hockey League. The Leafs on a back-to-back. Not a good performance by them last night. And you had that, man. And the refs tried to help you, bro. The refs tried their best. 2 goals. And if you've watched this show at all, and I mean, I've been hanging out with you every day for the last over a year now, you know I do not homer I don't defend the Leafs very often. I'm sure there's some homer in me a little bit, but
Not
I
crazy.
mean, I'm a lifelong Leaf fan. What can you do? But I don't defend the Leafs very often. I don't whatever. Both those goals that were disallowed were absolutely goals. Like both of them. So this game should have been tied up like 5 minutes sooner than it was. So that's my opinion. The refs tried to help you. That's not on you, bro. You got a team. You're up 3-1. You got a team on a second night of a back-to-back.
Unreal.
You've been dominating the whole game. That's all you. So I don't blame you at all. You were right on all those picks, but your teams just didn't show up for you. It's that simple.
Never be my teams. Not playing like that. It's just miserable. That's how gambling goes sometimes, though. You know, you do everything right and then you're so wrong.
Dude, that's it, man. All right, my quick takeaway. I wasn't on earlier to talk about this, so I got to talk about this now. And I'm not going to talk about the game itself because I feel like I talk about this every single day, but you know what? They're 15-1, and they deserve to be talked about. This is the best start in National Hockey League history, and they deserve to be talked about. I'm not going to talk about, once again, Jets win last night 6-3. I'm not going to talk about the Jets necessarily as a whole. We all know how good this team is. But I got to let you know. I'll ask you a question, actually. We'll pose this in the form of a question.
Jeopardy answers or just regular answers?
Regular, because I can't remember Jeopardy rules. But my question to you is, the Winnipeg Jets, they're 15-1. Where do you think they rank on? I mean, I have open FanDuel right now, so we'll do FanDuel. Where do you think they rank as far as Stanley Cup odds right now?
Oh Lord, if I had to guess, let me list some teams. Let me think about some teams here. I'd assume the Rangers, Panthers, Oilers, Stars, Avalanche are still ahead of them.
Yes.
So at least 5. I think the Devils started really high. They've had a good start.
They're still ahead of them.
6.
Yeah.
Your boys, obviously. The Leafs are always up there.
Yep.
Am I missing anybody? Vegas.
There's 3 others that you're missing.
Vegas.
Yep.
Vegas, one of them.
Yep.
Was that 8?
I think so.
I'm missing 3 others. The only.
Yeah, because you said Edmonton, Dallas,
team...
Florida, Rangers, Devils, Leafs, Avalanche, Vegas. There's 2 others that you're missing.
There's 2.
Yeah, you were missing 3, but then you guessed Vegas. Now you're missing 2.
One, the only other one I could possibly see is Carolina.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
What division's the last one? Don't tell me it's like the Lightning?
The Lightning, bro.
That's aggressive. Okay.
The Lightning. Now listen, I understand, dude. I understand what have you done for me in the playoffs. I get what they did last year or whatever. I also understand that a lot of this is based on the public and they're in Winnipeg and nobody even knows where Winnipeg is if you're not in Canada. So I get it. Okay. What state is Winnipeg in? Nobody knows. But
Manitoba. Hey.
Well, you know, you're well versed. I'm just saying, I get it, Edmonton, bad start, but I get why they would be up there. Dallas, Carolina, based on their start, Florida, Rangers, Colorado, I can understand. Vegas, I can understand. Whoever you want to put above them, that's fine. I know they're 11th, but how are the Jets not in the top 10 of Stanley Cup betting odds? That's crazy to me, man. Tampa Bay, the only reason, and what's that?
Tampa's kind of crazy. That's insane.
Well, and like I haven't checked like super recently. I guess I can do this quickly right now. Um okay, so Florida, Toronto, Boston, Devils, Carolina, Washington, Rangers, Ottawa. Those are your playoff teams right now, okay? Tampa Bay is 7-6-1. Have not looked overly impressive at all so far this year. Um and I don't know, man. I just don't understand this team. What does this team have to do to get some love? Like, do they have to go like 30-1? Like, do they have to not lose another game until 2025? Is that what we need to do here?
I think the answer is relocation, honestly.
Right? Yeah. Go back to where was it originally? Arizona?
Were they Arizona?
Was
Were
it
they one of the
Arizona
Atlantas? I
or
don't know. Atlanta
Atlanta?
lost like 3 teams. I just
Yeah, I
assumed
can't.
Atlanta.
I think it was Arizona. I'm pretty sure, but make them the Coyotes again, and then people will care. That doesn't seem to be correct either. But I just found that funny. They win again last night. I just like for fun. I checked the betting odds, and they're not even in the top 10 of Stanley Cup contenders. So to wrap up that conversation, if you want to throw some cash on the Winnipeg Jets, they are plus 2,000 to win the Stanley Cup right now. Plus 2,000. Um, Tampa Bay Lightning plus 1,800. Vegas plus 1,400. Colorado and Toronto and New Jersey all plus 1,300. Rangers plus 1,200. Panthers and Hurricanes plus 1,000. Stars plus 950. Oilers still plus 800. So I found that very intriguing. That team's just so good, man. You watched them firsthand last night. They're just flawless right now, man. It's unbelievable. And we've talked about it before, but the biggest change from what we saw last year, because we saw dominant stretches from them last year, but what we're seeing this year, they're scoring 6 goals every game. Like that's the biggest difference, man. They're scoring like a ton of goals every single night. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, last year it was like 20 straight games of just 3-1. Now it's
Right. Exactly.
15 games of like 6-3, 6-1, like whatever. Just getting the job done.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. All right. Well, with all that said, let's dive in. We got 10 games to talk about on the slate for Thursday night. Just a quick update on tonight. The Kings and the Avalanche tied 2-2 in the second intermission. Also, after 2 periods, Vegas is up 2-1. The Red Wings, Leafs, and Utah all winners. And of course, if you're watching this throughout Thursday, then you know the results of Kings, Avalanche, and Vegas Golden Knights and Ducks. So good for you. Moving on to Thursday night's slate, starting right back to where we were just talking about the Garden. New York Rangers minus 400 favorites is back. The San Jose Sharks and the crazy odds are back. And this one is well deserved. Minus 400 for the Rangers at home, plus 310 for the Sharks on the road. Minus 1.5 for New York is minus 150. Minus 150 for minus 1.5. Plus 1.5 for the Sharks, plus 122. The over is 6.5 at plus 100, and the under is minus 122. What do you got, man? Sharks, Rangers, all right.
I mean, off camera, we talked about the vibes in that building right now.
Yeah.
2 straight home games where they've allowed 6 goals. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. You're facing the Sharks, though. I mean, the lines kind of speak for itself here. You're heading to the Pacific Northwest after this. You got the 4-game swing, Seattle, Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton. I feel like they have another road game after that, but I don't have the full schedule up. That's not important. What's important is you have to leave a lasting impression here tonight before you go out. You got to get some momentum. Got to feel good. and this is the perfect team to do it against. I know the Sharks are playing well. I don't want to discredit them.
Yep.
They were my takeaway, my highlight a few days ago. Was it Monday night?
Yep.
After that shootout loss, like, I don't want to discredit what they're doing right now. But the New York Rangers won the President's Trophy last year. The New York Rangers were yet again halfway to the Stanley Cup Finals last year. The New York Rangers should smoke the San Jose Sharks. And I don't think this is me talking objectively at this point. This is me trying to will this team forward. Do what you got to do. Get a few days off. Go to Seattle. Start a nice road trip. Stack some points. The Canes are playing well. I know they lost tonight. The Devils are playing well. They just beat the Panthers. Something you can't do. San Jose, this needs to be like a 5-1 win. I don't think it's up yet. I'll actually check right now. I'm taking Rangers.
It's not on FanDuel.
Yeah, Rangers minus 2.5.
I'm right there with you, man. So my first thought, and like, listen, like the Rangers, and maybe I'm listening to too much like NHL talk radio, but it feels like from afar, like guys like me and other people who just know what the Rangers have done, and you look at the standings and their record, like, what's their record? Like 9-4-1. Like, it's a good start as far as the standings go. But you read like Rangers beat writers or listen to people who cover the Rangers, and like the sky is falling in New York. And as an objective fan of the game and someone who covers the sport myself, you're just like, yeah, the Rangers are fine, they'll figure it out. But you read people close to the team, and it's like, what is happening? Keandre Miller, biggest bust in defenseman history. And it's like, it's super interesting to watch. My first kind of knee-jerk reaction to this is I kind of like the Sharks plus 1.5, just because like the Sharks have been playing really well. And the vibes in New York, as you said, like, they just seem to be kind of wonky right now. However, with respect for the Rangers, the former regular season champions, don't forget, the banner is up. They are the regular season champions last year. That's right. That might be part of it, dude. To have the balls to put up a regular season champions, that might be the bad juju. That might be enough right there. But what I'm saying is, this team has to win by 2.5. They have to. Like, they need to. You had a game, marquee goaltender matchup. I didn't think the Rangers actually played that bad. Like yesterday, I thought they played pretty well. The Jets were just the Jets and kind of did what they did. I thought Keandre Miller did have a really tough game last night, but he's still my guy. He borderline saved my fantasy year last year, so I got all the love in the world for Miller. But I'm just saying that the Rangers are fine. They'll be fine, but they need a big statement win. So I'm right there with you. It's not up right now, but when it is, I'm taking Rangers minus 2.5 as well. They got to lay a beat down. As far as the total goes, I kind of want to take the under just because, like, I expect them just to choke the life out of the Sharks. But who knows? With the way that the defense has kind of been this year, I'm not gonna risk it all with the total. But I'm taking Rangers minus 2.5 as well.
I just got to defend Key just a little bit here.
Yeah,
he had a rough game. I mean, it happens obviously, but his rough games seem to happen with a certain defensive pairing that we roll out, whereas when he's been with Fox or Schneider, he's been fantastic. And I'm just going to leave it at that.
Are you talking? I'm assuming you're talking about your guy Trouba.
I mean, I have to be talking about Trouba. And
yeah,
those two don't need to be together ever again. And it feels like Laviolette just keeps sticking them back together. And every time we play a good team, it's like, oh yeah, these guys still suck with each other.
Yeah, that's interesting. But Trouba, like, feels like this is his last kick at the can with the Rangers, right? Like, it feels like, and listen, man, I got a lot of time for Trouba. I love the guy as a player. They don't really make him like Trouba anymore. Just
former Jet.
wrecking ball, former Jet.
Yeah.
As it feels like everybody is a former Jet, everybody. But but yeah, I'm right there with you, man. And I think Keandre Miller is going to be fine. And just so everybody knows, everybody who cares, he's not going anywhere. I know people are talking, trade speculation or, what's his contract going to be. He's a restricted free agent. He'll get paid, but it's not going to be astronomical, and he's a restricted free agent. So however the negotiations go, eventually it's going to get figured out, and he's going to be in New York for a while still. All right, moving on to Florida, where in a little scheduling quirk, the Devils are still in Florida, and they're playing the same team. Tomorrow night, Thursday night. I got to say Thursday because I got to get used to this. Minus 137 are the Panthers at home. Plus 114 are the Devils, still on the road and still in Florida. Plus 1.5 for the Devils is minus 220. Minus 1.5 for the Panthers is plus 176. Over is 6.5 at plus 116. Under is minus 142. Shout out to the Devils for a great win last night. And shout out to one of the better fights we've seen in years. Like, I don't even remember the last time. A lot of these fights, there's some good ones, but a lot of these fights now are a lot of dancing and a lot of spinning around and whatever. That fight last night, shout out to ESPN for putting the punch counter up there, and just like absolutely beautiful fight. That was old school, mid 2000s, like 90s. Like, that was a really good tilt if you're into that sort of thing. Between Dylan and I'm not even going to try to pronounce the guy on the Panthers who fought, because I've been butchering names all season long. But terrific fight, terrific win by the Devils. But they can't win 2 in a row against this Panthers team, right? This Panthers team's going to figure it out. What do you got? Devils, Panthers tomorrow night. Thursday night. Tonight.
Well, I mean, that first game, that's a lot of what the Devils added in this offseason, or at least they were trying to add. It came out. You talked about the physicality and the toughness, the willingness to drop the gloves and fight, and then the ability to hold your own. Something that last year's team was missing very noticeably, especially in the tail end of the season. So huge for them. That was a huge, we talked about it, statement game. Just to go to Sunrise 4-1 win. It's a team that came into the year with very high expectations. They made the moves to contend and be a cup contender, and they just beat the champs thoroughly, and the champs were rolling. So huge win for Devils. Really, really impressive. Should have turned a lot of heads if people weren't paying attention already, because they've gotten off to a pretty good start this year. But I'm here to say the Panthers are going to get their lick back.
100%.
We know that. I know the Panthers. You know the Panthers. The Panthers are going to get them back. And I think it might get ugly. That minus 137 is good enough for me to just take the money line. But, man, I saw that puck line. I saw plus 180, and I was instantly drawn toward it because
it's tasty.
Florida's going to get them back.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. I like the minus 137 as well. Listen, going into last night's game, I believe they were on a 7-game winning streak. They were playing some terrific hockey. And they were going to lose eventually. And listen, man, the Devils are a good team. They're still figuring some things out, but they're a good team. You did have Spencer Knight between the pipes for the Panthers last night. So I don't know how much that had to do with it. Maybe something. But I'm taking the Panthers minus 137 as well. As far as goal scoring goes, I am taking Sam Reinhart, man, plus 155. This guy is scoring all the time, plus 155. And Jack Hughes, man, quietly starting to put some goals away. He is plus 175. I'm taking the Panthers minus 137 as well. And as if we haven't talked about this team enough, the Winnipeg Jets are in Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is minus 118 at home. Winnipeg is minus 102 on the road. can I just say this once again? I know they're on the road, but this is stupid. Like, this is dumb. This is Vegas. I mean, I know people bet the number, blah, 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 but this is Vegas trying to save some money here. Winnipeg is minus 102 instead of plus money, but they're still underdogs. Plus 1.5 for Winnipeg is minus 265. Minus 1.5 for Tampa Bay is plus 210. The over is 6.5 at plus 112, and the under is minus 138. What do you got, Jets Lightning?
I mean, this is just good business when you look at this line. Tampa has better odds to win the cup. Tampa must be favored in this game, right? They got to be the better team in this matchup. I'm not going to lie to you, Mark. I tried to, open the Lightning Stat Muse page earlier. I'll bring up their stats or whatever. I completely hit the Leafs logo. They really need to. One of them, it needs to be Tampa because they're not an original 16. They need to change their logo. They need to change their color scheme or something. But when I did open the page successfully, finally, I was greeted with 4 straight losses. And then I was reminded, this Tampa team started off so hot. And then they've just completely lost it all. All the, what I like to say, you make the deposits so you can have some withdrawals later. They've used up their withdrawals pretty much. 7-6-1 now on the year.
Yeah.
When they're scoring, they're not stopping pucks. When they're stopping pucks, they're not scoring. It's one of those stretches for them. And this Jets team, 15-1, plus 39 goal differential. What's their winning streak at? You guys beat them at 8 games or their 9th game. They're 15-1.
Yeah.
7-game winning streak now. That includes the Lightning 7-4 win at home. We've seen this film before. I think it's going to end the same way. Jets at those odds are pretty much a lock. I think with Tampa's ability to score, and obviously the Jets haven't been shy from shootouts this year, you got to take the over as well. So high-scoring Jets win for me.
Yeah, I'm right there with you with the over. I think, the Jets are going to score at least 4 on their own. And so if you're thinking whatever. So here's where I'm at, man. The Jets, I haven't looked. This is a conversation for another day if people can really stomach another Winnipeg Jets conversation. But, I keep hearing this when I'm listening to, like different radio shows and listening to different whatever or reading articles or whatever. I keep hearing this, eventually the Jets are going to regress and eventually they're going to go through, the losing streak. And eventually, why? Why eventually? I haven't looked at their schedule. I don't know. I know that this week they got the Panthers coming up next. They played the Rangers last night. They got Tampa Bay. They're facing the Panthers twice, right? I'm pretty sure.
Back to back. Home and home.
So, what's with the Panthers and all these back-to-backs? It's weird. But anyway, so I know that this is a, tougher stretch, quote unquote. But the Jets are a 4-line team, man. They got the best goaltending in the league. And even when Hellebuck isn't playing, which is rare because the guy starts every night, their defense is absolutely shut down. They're just, why? Why does this have to regress? Why? This team could go on a Boston Bruins run that we saw a couple years ago.
I don't think you want to repeat that.
Why? What did I say?
I saw how Boston's season ended.
Well, understood. Heard and understood. I'm just saying, regular season-wise, I don't see why this team couldn't just keep being amazing. But all that being said, they're going to win against Tampa Bay tomorrow night. And I like the over because if Hellebuck isn't in the net tomorrow, I can expect a couple goals to go in for Tampa Bay. But I'll even go as far as saying that when it's available to me, I would take Winnipeg minus 1.5. I don't. They're beating everybody by 1.5, man. Your Rangers team is an absolutely top-notch Stanley Cup contender. They beat them by 3 goals. I just, when that puck line is available to me, I will take Winnipeg minus 1.5. No questions asked. And I'll take that over as well, just for fun. I haven't even looked, but I'll see. Yeah, no, it's not available yet. But when it is, I'm all over it. -1.5. All right, moving to my nation's capital, the Ottawa Senators hosting the Philadelphia Flyers -176 at home. I don't know who this line is talking about. Is this the Ottawa Senators respect, or is this the Philadelphia Flyers disrespect? The Flyers +146 on the road, +1.5 for Philly is -170, -1.5 for Ottawa is +138. Over 6.5 +114. Under is -140. What do you got, man? Flyers, Senators.
See, this is tricky because I feel like it's Senators respect more than Flyers disrespect. The thing with the Senators is every time it feels like they're about to, go on a run, every time we build them up and say, yeah, this team is good, we believe in them, they fall flat on their face. I mean, they haven't won more than 2 games in a row this season. There are 2 right now. And there's no, until you see it, it's kind of hard to believe it. And I know the Flyers rough start, 1-5-1 start, kind of even things out a little bit, 6-8-2 now. But they're not exactly playing convincing hockey either. I mean, they escaped with their tail tucked between their legs against the Sharks, blew a 3-goal lead. Do you really trust them, even if they're up? Do you trust the Flyers to pull out a win here? Yeah, and that's the problem. I would like Flyers +1.5. I don't even have this game available for me, period, it seems like. But I would like Flyers +1.5. I know it's going to be a little too pricey. I don't really know what to do here besides the under. It seems like Ottawa has been playing a lot of low-scoring games lately. Their last 6, none of them have had more than 6 total goals. And with the way the Flyers, for the most part, have not been scoring this season, they just kind of like that.
Yeah.
So I'll take the under here. I'll avoid any money line, puck line plays.
Yeah, everything is kind of priced in a way that I don't want to touch it. Like the +1.5 for Philly is -170 on FanDuel. The under 6.5 is -140. If you want, it's not available here, but the alternate total, under -5.5, isn't really out of reach here. And I think that would most likely be plus money. Not super plus money, but plus money nonetheless. So under 5.5, I could see myself taking that. 60-minute line, I don't want to touch. Ottawa puck line, I don't want to touch. And Ottawa -176 is a price that I don't really want to mess with either. So to me, I'm right there with you, man. I'll tell you what, and I haven't looked based on this year. I haven't looked at their wins and their losses and the totals of the score or whatever. But based on what we've seen from Ottawa the last couple of years, it feels like if they can keep the score under, they're going to win most nights, right? That's just kind of what it feels like. Like Ottawa can score 4 or 5 goals in a game, no problem. But it feels like if they're in a shootout and it's a 6-4 game, 5-3 game, 5-4 game, it feels like they're going to be on the wrong side of that game. But if they can keep these scores, they beat Boston 3-2 on the weekend. They beat the Leafs 3-0 the other night. Now, I told you on Monday that Ottawa seems to beat the Leafs in the regular season, and that was a game last night that the Leafs lose. We both still picked the Leafs -1.5 anyway, or at least the money line anyway. But I told you, I was like, according to history, this is a game that Ottawa wins, and they did. But I'm right there with you, man. If they can keep these games under, I really feel like Ottawa has a chance to really solidify themselves as that team in the Atlantic who is finally ready to make the jump. I know the Red Wings won tonight, still not convinced. And Ottawa, at some point, they're going to suck me right back in, dude. They always do. I always say I'm not going to fall for it, and I always do. But we'll see what happens. I do like the under though. Is my point. Tomorrow, -1.5 right now for 6 or -140 for under 6.5. But once the alternate totals are unveiled, I'll take under 5.5 all day long. I see this being 3-2, 3-1. Either way you slice it. All right, moving on to Buffalo. -152 against the St. Louis Blues. I I understand that Buffalo has lost 8-1 twice this year. Sorry, St. Louis has lost 8-1 twice this year. And I understand St. Louis. You've made it very clear your position on the St. Louis Blues. Are they one of the most hated teams as far as the sports books go? Like, I don't know if Vegas hates anybody more than St. Louis. Like, -152 Buffalo against St. Louis, -152. That's pretty crazy to me. No doubt they should be favored, but -152 is very interesting. St. Louis +126 on the road. +1.5 for St. Louis is -200. -1.5 for Buffalo is +160. The over is 5. That's an interesting line. Usually when we see -200 numbers for +1.5, the -1.5 is close to or in the 200s as well. But Buffalo's -1.5 is +160. The over is 5.5 at -128, and the under is +104. What do you got? St. Louis, Buffalo. What could you possibly have for this game?
I think Vegas nailed this game, honestly. Need I remind you that the Blues have the worst goal differential in the Central
You
Division.
need to remind me.
Second worst Western Conference. So, pretty bad team. Third, fourth worst in the entire NHL. They're not doing much. And I know the blowout losses are there, but they were up 2-0 on the Bruins, and they lost that one too. So, they're just not getting the job done, point blank, period. Robert Thomas is out. Torrey Krug is out. Nick Leddy and Philip Broberg are also out. You've talked about the injuries a ton lately, and that's probably a reason why their games were like 1-0, 2-3, whatever, and now becoming 5-2, 8-1. At the same time, this is a team that couldn't afford the injury bug. Now they got it. Now they're back on the road. They lost 3 in a row to end a 5-game homestand. It's not looking good for you boys. And I know it's Buffalo, and I know you should never trust the Sabres, but they did recently win 3 in a row. They are at home again before embarking on a road trip. They need to, get that momentum before they head out. They've been scoring lately. Last 4 games, you're looking at 19 goals. I don't think the Blues can keep up with 19 goals. I think the Blues can absolutely allow 5. They're missing, 3 D-men I just named?
Yeah.
Give me the Sabres, not just money line. Give me the Sabres 60-minute line. Give me the Sabres puck line. Give me the Sabres over 4.5 goals. Give me the over 6 in this game at +100. I think Buffalo's going to do what a lot of teams are doing lately, and then that's kind of exposed the Blues defensively while they can get got.
I gotta say this. I don't disagree with anything that you said. I just do have to love that you hate St. Louis so much that you're willing to take the Buffalo Sabres just without any thought. Like, just absolutely, Buffalo Sabres are going to wipe the floor. Like, this team, it's the Buffalo Sabres, dude. Like, I get what you're saying, and I'm here for it. And you could absolutely be right. I'm not picking anything at all to do with this game. Nothing. Not one thing. That's not true. I've been saying this all year long, even in the preseason, I was saying this. JJ Peterka, I did see. I picked him to score for Monday's game against Montreal. He is +160. He is the shortest odds to score tomorrow night on Thursday night. And I believe for the majority of the season, he's been in the 200s. I love me some JJ Peterka. He's +160. to score tomorrow. Other than that, I am not touching this game, dude. I agree with you. Buffalo should win -1.5, hands down. I also know that they were beating Montreal, and they should have beat Montreal, and they didn't. They didn't just lose to Montreal. Montreal covered. So that game, you're facing a team, Montreal Canadiens. They lost 6 in a row. Their goaltending's been horrendous. Their defense has been horrendous. They've been horrendous, and you lose 7-5 to a team that has, by and large, in every aspect, been horrendous. So I can't take Buffalo in this game, man. But I do agree with what you're saying about St. Louis. I don't know if it's just because I know a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy who knows Jordan Kyrou. Maybe that's something that I have, like, I know him based on, like, the guy that knows a guy. Like, it's like 5 guys down the line. But maybe that's something that's in my heart about it. But, yeah, I agree with you, but I can't take Buffalo here, man. But I will take JJ Peterka plus 160 this year.
I don't know, man. Forest Park is just obnoxiously large and overrated. There's just no redeeming qualities of St. Louis.
I hear they got great barbecue. I hear that. And great music. I'm here for good music.
I love me some food. I'm going to slander St. Louis barbecue. So I have to slander something about St. Louis every time they're brought up. So I was saving barbecue. This is going to be a special one.
I was going to say, you already slandered their park. What more could you possibly?
I'm digging deep.
How deeper could you possibly go? All right, moving on. Now, I've been to many cities in America. This is one of my favorites. The Dallas Stars in Dallas, facing the Boston Bruins. -176 are the Stars at home, plus 146. That's this Boston Bruins team right now. Plus 146 in Dallas. -1.5 for Dallas is plus 140. Plus 1.5 for Boston is -172. The over is 5.5 at -130. And the under is plus 106. Bruins Stars. What do you got, man?
Yeah, it feels like the Stars are only really losing to teams that are playing really well, like genuinely strong teams, and the Buffalo Sabres that one time. We don't talk about that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, of their, 5 losses, the Jets, the Panthers twice, and the Capitals on the road, there's no shame in any of those, really.
Yeah, pretty good teams, man.
And then between that, it's just a bunch of multi-goal wins, including the Bruins. They won 5-2 in Boston. You look at what the Bruins are doing. I know they've won a few games lately. They beat the Blues. The Blues are struggling and injured. They need to come back from 2 goals in that game. They beat the Flames 4-3 in OT. They blew a 2-goal lead, and the Flames are struggling. They beat the Kraken 2-0 at home. The Kraken are struggling. The Flyers are struggling. That's another win. And then they got absolutely demolished by the Canes before that. Like, the Bruins, they're feasting on the bottom feeders. I'm not even feasting, really. They're beating the bottom feeders, doing enough to get 2 points. And then between that, 2-8 loss to the Canes, 2-0 loss to the Flyers, 4-0 loss to the Leafs, loss to the Senators at home. Not a good team. Or at least they're not playing like one, and they're on the road. I know it's only one game, but they have a losing record on the road. They're facing one of the toughest teams on their schedule on the road. Dallas Stars should absolutely destroy them. I have the puck line for the Stars in this one. I'm leaning over, and I think a large part of that is the Stars probably get there by themselves.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. Dallas Stars -1.5. I'm not afraid of it. I've watched this Boston team quite a bit over the last week and a half, and like we've said many times on this show, something is off in Boston. I know they got that big win the other night. David Pastrnak getting the OT winner. I'm here for it. I'm just saying I just don't trust it. I guess that was last night. I don't trust it. I don't trust them. I also feel like the Dallas Stars, like, they're 9-5. like you said, man, they've lost to all good teams except for Buffalo that one time. But Buffalo, like we joke and make fun of Buffalo or whatever, but they're a team that's trying to prove that they're a playoff team, right? Like they feel like they're ready to take that next step. And quite honestly, they should be ready to take that next step. I think the rest of us don't believe that they're ready, but they should be ready. So, and I mean, Buffalo's beat some good teams too, man. They beat the Rangers, beat the Stars, couldn't beat the Canadians, but I already talked about that. I'm taking Dallas -1.5 here. I'm not touching the total. The -1.5 is good enough for me. I am going to call out some Dallas Stars players, though. Number one, Jason Robertson. This guy seems like a ghost out there. 4 goals, 3 assists, 7 points. He's a +3. It's fine. But this guy used to take over games, man, and I have no idea where he's been. I'm also going to call out my guy. He grew up like 40 minutes away from me, Wyatt Johnston. What's up with this guy? 2 goals, 5 assists. He's a +4, but he's kind of been a ghost as well. I don't know what's going on with him. He needs to step it up here in a hurry. And another guy, and I know 5 goals, 4 points, Robe Hintz. He seems to be kind of just there as well. So you got a team that's 9-5, Stanley Cup aspirations, and 3 of their best players, maybe their 3 best players haven't really played to the best of their ability. To me, if I'm the rest of the league, that scares me, that the Dallas Stars are where they are and their best players haven't even really played that well. So I'm really interested to see what happens moving forward, but I'm taking Dallas -1.5 as well. All right, speaking of the Montreal Canadiens, I'll just, spoiler alert, they're going to get smacked tomorrow night. Thursday night. They're going to get smacked on Thursday. Montreal is in Minnesota. Minnesota is -275 favorites. And quite frankly, I'm sorry, Montreal. You know I love you. If the Rangers are -400 against the Sharks, Minnesota should be more than -275 against the Canadiens. Canadians are +220 on the road, +1.5 for Montreal is -110. -1.5 for Minnesota is also -110. The over is 6.5 at +102, and the under is -124. I let you go first, but I'm just going to cut right to the chase. Minnesota wins 5-2, no brainer. Minnesota -1.5, -110. Move on. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. They just lost a rough one in OT to Chicago. Only scored 1 goal in that game. They're back home. We're 3-1-1. They're back home. They have a winnable game. They've beaten Montreal, 7 times in a row now. They swept them last year before. You get the point. The Canadians, I know they beat Buffalo. Buffalo's where nothing makes sense. I don't even count that as a game. They had a 6-game losing streak before that. 5 of those were by multiple goals. And really, there's just been no reprieve for this team, especially on the road. -1.5. It's a pretty easy call.
Yeah, I will say, though, real quickly on the prop side of things, everyone know how I feel about Kirill Kaprizov, man, the most underrated superstar in the NHL. He's -110 to score on Thursday night. The props are not available to me yet, but when they are, 2+ points for Kaprizov, I'm here for it all day. Also, Matt Boldy, excellent start to the year for him. He is +135. And in a losing effort, Cole Caulfield leads the league in goals with 12, I believe. 12.
Yes.
+200 for the NHL leader in goals, +200. So give me some Cole Caulfield as well. All right, moving on to a game tomorrow night, possibly the game of the night for a few different reasons. I do think there's some good games tomorrow. Winnipeg-Tampa is going to be a good game. But this game is huge for many, many reasons. Edmonton -182 at home. over the Nashville Predators, minus 182 over the Preds. That's tough. Plus 150 are the Predators on the road. Minus 1.5 for Edmonton is plus 136. Plus 1.5 for the Predators is minus 168. The over is 6.5 at plus 106. And the under is minus 130. A little shameless plug here. Colorado just scored. I hope Colorado wins, man, because if the only losing leg to my parlay is the Hurricanes losing 4-1 to Utah after I was shooting them 50-21, I'm gonna be pissed. So I hope that Colorado wins and my parlay loses by 2 legs because I don't know if I can handle it. A little shameless plug. Tomorrow morning I will have an article on totalapexsports.com about what I am about to talk about, and that is that the Connor McDavid, 4 points last night against the Islanders. He is now 1 point away from 1,000 in his career. He has played, I can't remember exactly what the number is, but 600 and something games, and he has 999 points. When he hits 1,000, he will be the 4th fastest player in NHL history to hit that 1,000 mark. The only 3 ahead of him are Mike Bossy being 3, Mario Lemieux being 2, and of course Wayne Gretzky being number 1. So Connor McDavid, 1 point away from 1,000. If he doesn't hit it tomorrow, then all of Canada. What did I just say? Canada. All of Canada for Friday, all day Saturday, can talk about Edmonton, Toronto, Saturday night, hockey night in Canada, 1,000th point. But he's going to hit it tomorrow, right? Who are we kidding? He's going to get it tomorrow night against Nashville. So huge thing for him. Just real quick, for him to hit Wayne Gretzky's record, he's going to legit have to play for the next 20 years because I believe Wayne Gretzky has almost 3,000 points. So Connor McDavid is going to have a 30-year career in order for him to hit that number. However, Jaromir Jagr has just over 1,900 points. He was at 1.11 point per game, I believe. And I literally only remember that because I literally just wrote about it. Where Connor McDavid's at a 1.4 points per game pace right now. So if Connor McDavid plays double the games that he's currently played, he will hit just around 2,000 points. So Connor McDavid, before it's all said and done, could absolutely be second all time in points. But Wayne Gretzky, that point record, it's pretty much untouchable at this point. But what do you got, bro? Nashville, Edmonton, and yeah, Connor hits it tomorrow, right?
I mean, you would think, if we're talking about Gretzky, though, more assists than anybody else has points. Nobody's ever touching that.
Yeah, nobody. Exactly.
It's ridiculous. He was ridiculous. He was the great one.
Yep.
And as much as we like to call McDavid McJesus, those in Edmonton know that Gretzky was the true savior. So for this game, or I guess I'm just Nashville in general, I think at the end of this road trip, concluding with next Wednesday, that late night national showcase in Seattle, there will be a verdict on this Predators team. I will be ready to put them in one column or the other. I'm tired of this dance. And it's not really a dance because they sucked and I'm just held on to potential for too long.
Yeah.
So this West Coast trip, this is make or break for them. We know the story about this team, right? Not really putting together wins, not really scoring goals, kind of just negative 14 goal differential for the season. They're allowing goals in very large quantities at times. It's been rough. Edmonton is one of the games that they've lost already this season, not once, twice.
Yep.
4-2 at home and then 5-1 at home. now they're in Alberta, and this is a team. We talk about the Predators not being good. 1-3-2 on the road. Uh, there's pretty much no hope for them winning on the road. Is what has happened this season. I want them to be good. I don't think they're going to be good. Edmonton -1.5, high scoring game again, mostly because the Predators don't have an answer for two of the best players in the world, on top of just an Edmonton team that is, by the standard they horribly set for themselves earlier in this season, playing better.
Yeah, you know what's funny about this game, man? Like, Edmonton's probably the right pick here. I do think that this team's going to play very well tomorrow night, and I do think Connor McDavid is going to go off and get at least 1 point to hit that 1,000 mark. That being said, dude, I don't really trust them right now either. Like, that game against the Islanders, they were up 3-1 in that game. That game was Oilers all day long, and they had to win it in overtime. No disrespect. No disrespect to the Islanders. If you watch the show at all, you know how we both feel about the Islanders. You're not coughing up a 3-1 lead in the third to the Islanders, man. You're not. Like, I don't really trust Skinner right now. I don't really trust this Oilers team either. So, -182 or -1.5. I don't really like to bet any of this. I think I'm going to bet Connor McDavid 2+ points and leave it at that and see what happens. I don't. Nashville +150 is a very tempting price, but I don't really trust them. I don't really trust the Oilers either. So, yeah, man, give me McDavid. It's not available right now, but when it is, give me McDavid 2+ points, and we'll go from there because I don't really trust the total. And it's funny too, like with Nashville, you look at the games, you look at the final score, you look at how it's all gone. It's easy, and even the numbers, like it's easy to say, like S.O.S has not been good or whatever. He's been fine. This team is forgetting how to play defense in front of him, and it's just an absolute disaster right now. So I don't trust either of these teams, despite Edmonton's potential and blah, blah, blah. I don't trust it right now. So give me McDavid 2+ points, and we'll go from there.
Mark.
Yes.
13 seconds left. Frank Vetrano scores 3-2 Golden Knights final. Puck line dies.
Oh, thank you, Jesus. I am so happy about that. For me, not for you. I'm sorry, man.
Oh, yeah, I know where you're at.
I mean, I bet -1.5 too. Let me be very clear. I just couldn't let Carolina friggin' sewer me like that, man.
Ridiculous.
I just so mad. I know I said this to you pre-show. I don't remember if I said this on the air or not, but like I could have cashed out at significantly less than the payout was, but I could have cashed out for a pretty significant margin. And then Utah goes up 2-1. Then I try to cash out again, and they go up 3-1, and I can't cash out for the rest of the night. So it's just infuriating. All right. Speaking of infuriating, the New York Islanders are in Vancouver, +140 on the road. Vancouver's -170 at home. +1.5 is -178 for the Islanders. -1.5 for Vancouver. +144. The over is 5.5 at -134, and the under is +110. What do you got? Islanders, Canucks in Vancouver.
Yeah, Vancouver, they've won 4 of their last 5. 3 of their last 4 games were multi-goal wins. In their last 11, they've scored 3+ goals in all but one of those games. They got randomly shut out. And otherwise, they've just been consistently scoring. They're playing well. Good team. They're at home again. There's a lot to like about Vancouver tonight. And then, there's the Islanders. Best hope for them on almost any night is that they force OT. That's just what they do. But betting on them to win doesn't really seem to work out very often. And it's just because they allow a lot of goals. And for the most part, they're not scoring that many goals. They occasionally claw their way to 3 and force OT, but then they lose in OT. The Canucks are going to win this game. The question is by how much. I would wager the puck line. I can see a world where that doesn't hit, so I don't like it as much. What I do like more than anything is the over.
Yeah, I'm right there with you with the over. I like over 5.5. Minus 134 is a decent price. I'm definitely here for it. I love the minus 1.5 though for Vancouver. I think they're playing really good hockey. The big thing for me, and I know it's currently Wednesday night, so you might not have very accurate speculation. I'm trying to see here if I have sorry, here we go. I'm live Thursday night. Where is it? You know where I'm going with this probably. Okay, so as of right now, Kevin Lankinen is projected as of Wednesday night to start. If She Loves starts, well then all bets are off. And give me the over, and I'm good on that. Over 6.5, in fact. And I'm good on that. Even if it's the Islanders, She Loves been an absolute disaster. But if Lankinen's in net tomorrow night, I'm taking Canucks minus 1.5. And there's no reason to get too complicated about this. That's how I feel about it. Defensively, I trust Vancouver more than Edmonton. And that's who coughed up a 3-1 lead, right, to the Islanders the other night. But you are right, though, dude. Like, the Islanders, they love overtime. They absolutely love it. And it should be available here. 60-minute lines plus 360 to go to overtime, right? So they love to go to overtime. I'm here for that as well. However, I do love the Canucks minus 1.5 here at plus 140. All right, moving on. Last game of the evening. As always, everybody watching live, we appreciate you guys. If you're watching on Thursday, we appreciate you also, obviously, as well. Last game of the night, Chicago is in Seattle, plus 132, minus 160. I'm pretty furious about this because my beloved Philadelphia Eagles are playing tomorrow night against the Washington Commanders, and I'll have that game on. I'll have a hockey game on my laptop I'll be watching as well. By the time the football game is over, the Vancouver game is going to be blacked out, as will be the Edmonton game, which is infuriating. I don't know if they do blackouts in the States, but they do blackouts all the time here in Canada where regional broadcasts are blacked out. And I got to stream and all the pop-ups, and I get frustrated at that time of night with pop-ups, dude. I can't deal with pop-ups past 9:30 p.m. And so, but I believe this game is going to be nationally broadcasted. Chicago and Seattle. This is the one that I'm going to have to settle with after the Eagles are over. But anyway, I digress. Chicago plus 132 on the road. Seattle is minus 160 at home. Minus 1.5 for Seattle is plus 156. Plus 1.5 is minus 194. The over is 5.5 at minus 134, and the under is plus 110. You know what I'm going to do, actually, man? If Chicago and Seattle is the only game available for me to watch without jumping through all the pop-up, wormholes that I gotta, jump through, maybe I'll reacquaint myself, with my wife and say hello and tell her that I still love her and that I'm not just going to watch sports until midnight every single night this week. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe we'll watch a show. Yellowstone's back. Maybe I'll reacquaint myself with Yellowstone.
Oh my God!
No,
Kevin Costner.
You're not a Yellowstone guy.
No, it's not Yellowstone. It's Kevin Costner. I'm not a Kevin Costner guy. Screw Kevin.
Well,
no.
Kevin
Costner. I hope you're listening.
I hope he is too. That would be pretty cool if Kevin Costner. Yeah. But listen, Kevin.
No.
My guy, Kevin. Don't listen to Andre. I love you. I always have, and I always will. What do you got, Andre? Chicago, Seattle. What do you got? What?
God. No, screw Kevin Costner. what do I have in this game? This is an interesting game. Uh, Really tough game to pick, honestly. The thing with Chicago, they have the potential. They show up sometimes. They play good games sometimes. Oh, excuse me. Other times they just fall flat. And I don't really know. They're a young team. It happens. Consistency is a hard thing to do in professional sports, particularly the NHL. I'm not going to blame them one way or the other, but after an OT win, you got a few days off. Are you going to have that intensity? Are you going to have that focus? Are you going to have that drive? It's tough to predict with this Blackhawks team. I do know the Kraken more experience. I know the Kraken are obviously at home. Yet again, they have a winning record at home. At least they're 4-3-1, 4-4 if you want to just tally the wins and losses. So that's in their favor. They're scoring goals again, and I think that's most important, though. They scored 5 in their last game. They scored 4 against Vegas. They scored 3, even though they lost. They scored 3 in Denver. When they had that 4-game losing streak recently, they had 4 total goals in 4 games. Well, and 3 of them were that Avs game I just talked about. They had the 1 goal in the 3 games before that. 8-2 win over Montreal, and then you look before that, 1 goal, 3 goals, 2 goals. Win before that, 2 goals. When the Kraken are scoring, they're usually winning. Sounds kind of simple and cliche, but it's the truth. And this Chicago team, I don't think long layovers are going to be beneficial for them. They've been decent at keeping pucks out the net, not really scoring a lot. I think if the Kraken get to 3 here, they win. I think they will get to 3. I'm going to take the 60-minute line here. I'm going to take the under. I like the Kraken to pull it out, though, 3-2.
Yeah, I love the under in this game. I think plus 110, under 5.5. I love this one. I think whoever wins this game, 3-2 seems like the perfect score. I am kind of inclined right off the bat to take the Kraken minus 1.5. 2-game winning streak. Been playing good hockey lately. That game last Friday against Vegas, that was a huge statement for me. Watching that game, I thought they played really well, and there was many points in that game where they could have just rolled over and just let Vegas take it, but they didn't, and they got the job done. But I do like the under overall, 5.5 at plus 110. And I like 3-2. I think that seems like the right score, no matter which way it goes. Before we move on to our best bets, of course, I've been waiting for this guy all night long. He's finally here. Brady, the Canucks game should always come before your wife. First of all, that is just, I can't even answer that one. Not to mention the fact that my wife is literally right beside me, although I can't tell if she's sleeping or not. But nevertheless, even if she was awake, I can't let this. I can't even, like, what am I supposed to say to that? Number 2, if you were paying attention, Brady, you would have heard me say that the game is blacked out here, and I'm not jumping through pop-up wormholes after 9:30 p.m. I'm not doing it. For you, it'll be like 5:30 in the afternoon, but for me, it won't be, and I'm not doing it. Well, no, it'll be like 7 for you, but regardless. So yeah, Brady, appreciate you watching, but it'll be blacked out here. So, but you know what? Even if it wasn't blacked out, Andre, I would take the time to spend with my wife, blacked out or not. You know what I'm saying? All right,
That's right. That's the right thing
to do. That's the
first
thing I should have said.
That's what you want to do.
It is what I want to do, and it's also the first thing I should have said. I shouldn't have laid out the blacked out thing first. I should have. Anyway, whatever. Moving on. Here we go. Best bets brought to you by First Round Collectibles. Promo code SportsAddict for 10% off whatever card you want in the entire First Round Collectibles store. Ongoing sale up to 50% off. Tons of cards. And with our promo code SportsAddict at 10% off regular price or sales price items. Go to firstroundcollectibles.com today. Use promo code SportsAddict for 10% off your order. First Round Collectibles, sports cards for sports fans. Andre, best bet, bro. What do you got?
Yeah, busy day. There's a lot of really good bets on this schedule, honestly. just from 7 down to these 10s. Maybe I'll stop at 9. But there's a lot of really good bets here. However, there's always a best bet, right?
Always.
It's the Minnesota Wild minus 1.5 against the Canadiens.
Has
It's
to
got to
be.
be. Yeah. Bounce back game for them. Canadians, they got a win last time out. They're going to get back on their slide. They're just really not playing well. Just wacky stuff happens in Buffalo, and we don't acknowledge that. Those are anomalies. So Minnesota Wild get back on track. Big win back at home against the struggling Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah, I'm right there with you on that. I love that one. My best bet, simple, going all the way back to the second game that we talked about. It's the Winnipeg Jets money line minus 102. If it was available to me, I would have juiced up this parlay with a minus 1.5 Winnipeg win. I really, really do think that they're going to win by multiple goals tomorrow night. They might mimic the exact same score as last night, 6-3. Who knows? But it's not available, so we'll keep it simple. Winnipeg money line at minus 102.
Okay, family playtime. What are we looking at here?
Well, not a price that you would bet solo, at least not me. We could on a parlay, Rangers minus 1.5. We both like Florida on the money line minus 137. We both like Dallas.
Yeah, I did like Florida.
Did you take Dallas minus 1.5 against Boston? I know I did. Did you?
I did, yeah.
So I feel like that's kind of it. Those are kind of the ones. Either Dallas minus 1.5 plus 140, or Panthers money line. What are you thinking?
I think Panthers money line. I mean, we both said it instantly. Gonna get their lick back.
Love it.
Wow, Brady bringing up 2 topics we talked about earlier. There is a way of they do have odds for winning the conference and the Stanley Cup. Mark went over them earlier. The Winnipeg Jets, you mentioned your next. We did talk about them relocating. Their odds right now, after their historic start, are right there with the Tampa Bay Lightning. So if you think the Jets are better than the Lightning, you'll want them to win the Cup there. There you go. DK has them at plus 1,600. I just looked. I think yours were higher. I think you had 18.
For what?
The Jets to win the Cup.
Yeah, 18. It might have been 2,000.
Oof.
It's 2,000 plus 2,000.
You have 2,000.
Yeah. I mean, as far as what are good odds, like, does he mean like no matter the team, like what would be good odds to win the Cup? Like, I think right now, like Winnipeg plus 2,000 is terrific odds. Vancouver Canucks, like I'm not saying this just because Brady is the biggest homer that watches our show, but the Canucks plus 2,100, I think that's a good price as well. I do think that Vancouver price will probably come down at some point, but Winnipeg Jets plus 2,000, like if they keep playing the way they're playing, their price is going to come down eventually, and it probably should have already. But I mean, listen, man, Florida Panthers plus 1,000, Rangers plus 1,200, Dallas Stars plus 950. All those prices are good to me. The Avalanche are a good long shot. The more I watch this Avalanche team, the more I don't really trust it. Vegas plus 1,400 is probably one of the better odds out there as well. The Canucks at plus 2,100, that's what, 21-1? That's what it would be.
Yeah.
And the Leafs are 13-1 at plus 1,300 because it's the Toronto Maple Leafs, Brady. You know what it's like. You know what it is. All right, for our best bet parlay, I'm at plus 554. What do you got?
Plus 591. Got you beat.
Look at you go. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you. It's a long overdue.
It was. I'm happy for you.
Shout out to you,
Yeah.
DK.
Shout out to DK. Absolutely love it.
Not dog. Don't sue us. Don't strike us.
Everybody who's watching live, we appreciate you as always. Brady, thanks for hopping in on the chat, dude. We appreciate you. We will be back either tomorrow night or Friday. Just stay tuned, stay on your toes. We'll see what happens. We appreciate you guys. Shout out to FirstRoundClub.com. Use promo code SportsAct for 10% off your order. Shout out TotalApexSports.com. Thank you, Total Apex, for having us on board. We will see you guys next time. Good luck on your bets and have a great day.